What's going on, everyone? Welcome to, I, I guess episode 4? I don't know. The holidays have mixed me up, but I'm 8-Bit Matt. I am joined this week by Travis. Thanks for joining me, man.
What's up?
And yes, we're back. We're fuller from our Thanksgiving meals here in the States. But it's time to get back to it and keep the train rolling. We've passed 3. We're on to 4. I actually have a guest this time, so I guess this may be 3. Who knows? Whatever. It's 4.
Either way, we've got to 3. We've still hit the Valve mark.
We broke it, and we're gonna continue to raise that ceiling. Just keep going.
There we go. There we go.
I'm gonna tell you what I've been playing, Travis. I've been playing tons of Titanfall 2. Tons of it. New patch came out yesterday. Loving it.
Would they add or anything?
New
cool?
guns,
Change anything?
new maps, balance changes to all the weapons, new like assassination animations, new
like melee. Is that like melee kill?
yeah, it's like if you run up behind someone and you like execute them, it takes a little bit longer.
Knife. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
it's like so
like
there's
like Halo Reach style stuff.
exactly. So there's different ones that you can unlock. So they added some of those. They added new cosmetic items.
Animations. I like that.
Yeah, so like if you get like I think 50 executions, you unlock a new one to choose
That's
from.
cool. I like that. See, stuff like that is really cool. Like
Yeah, it drives you towards. You're like, okay, I'm gonna get these 50 executions, and I'm pretty close. I think I'm at like 40. So, and for a fast-paced game, that
I like stuff like that more than like new skins for a gun, because it's like, I don't really look at the gun all that much when I'm playing an FPS, and
Right.
no one that kills or that I kill, with if there is a kill cam, like they're not looking at my gun either. Like,
No.
I would much rather have something unique, like, or even like just something as simple as like, like a taunt animation or something like that. Like,
Yep.
just I don't know, something to work towards that's not purely just like visual aesthetic, like a new costume or new gun skin or something like that.
I'm with you on that, but so I'll tell you this: they did bring those in. There are additional cosmetics that can be applied to your guns, your
Right.
pilot, your Titan. I think you get like 20 or 30 of them for like $2. So like that's how they're like paying for this free DLC essentially. There's also Prime Titans, so they function just like their normal counterpart, but they look different and they have different execution animations for the Titans, and I think those cost money.
Interesting.
So like they're providing some of these other things, and it's honestly it seems pretty cheap. I don't know how much the Prime ones were because I pre-ordered, I got them. But there's the new map. It's probably one of the best maps from the original is back. There's just a handful of new things. Oh, there's a new gun, new sidearm pistol thing. That's pretty good.
Okay.
So yeah, just nice, a good amount of content, as well as I think they're gonna have new playlists and stuff. Like right now, they have a playlist called the new map's Angel City. So it's Angel City 24/7. So it's all the different game modes on that map.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I like once that
Just play a map you really like, but then you can play like every single type of.
exactly.
That's pretty cool.
So I'm enjoying it, and then I just picked up Final Fantasy 15. Already getting underway in that, and yeah, like I can already tell that game is going to eat so many hours of my life. But that and HOTS, I'm just trying to get my 30 games so I can get my free characters. If you play 30 games with friends, you unlock like 5 heroes in the game. So I'm like,
And is that on top of the 5 you get for just like signing up, like kind of thing?
yeah, they're different. They're definitely different
Or,
heroes. They're
Like, wait, do you get just like free characters, or is it just like League of Legends, like it's like a roster, a rotating roster?
I think you get some free ones just for playing, and like if you recruit people, you'll get some as well.
Okay.
But there's also a rotating list.
Is it a set list that you get for playing these 30 games, or is it just random?
It's a set list, and they're actually all really strong heroes that are like
that's
high in the meta. So they're not cheap. They're like some of the most expensive ones too. So it's like it's definitely worth it if you play the game at all.
Right.
You actually, if you go for 15 games, you get stuff for Overwatch.
Ooh.
And I think you get one character as well. I think.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so those have been my 3 that I've been playing. But what have you been playing though?
Oh man, I've been playing so much. I mean, it's been a while since our last show, but I mean, the main things lately, I've been playing a lot of XCOM 2 again.
Did they have a DLC come out or something?
Not an official DLC. There's so back with the I don't want to say the original XCOM, but the one they made, 2, 3, 4 years back, whatever. XCOM, Enemy Within or Enemy Unknown, Enemy Within.
Unknown. Okay. Yeah.
There was a group that made a mod called The Long War.
Yes.
I never played it, but I hear it's very good. It adds like a ton of stuff and makes the game a lot better, but a lot longer, obviously.
Hence the name,
anyway,
yeah.
They ended up forming their own little gaming kind of studio called Long War Studio, and so they make a bunch of officially sanctioned mods for XCOM 2, and they came up with a new one not too long ago. So and they also had a one before that. They have a bunch of stuff, and it's basically the only mods I run. But they have ones where it's like they add a new a bunch of new alien types, or new enemy types, so there's more muton types and more like dudes with guns, like advent soldiers. There's more more of those types of things. They have a new weapons. They added the SMG for soldiers, which like they have less ammo and they can't shoot as far, but they can move further.
Ooh, okay.
If they have that equipped.
So more variations.
Yeah,
on
and then they also
already
have
built-out game.
They have a whole nother tier of weapon at this point. They like, if you download that mod, it adds laser weapons. So it adds like a 4th tier, basically in between the magnetic and the plasma tier.
Okay.
And they rebalanced magnetic weapons to make them a little bit less weak than they are in the normal game, but the laser weapons are a little bit more powerful than what magnetic weapons were. So they kind of split the difference. It's pretty cool. Like basically they add a lot of and then like the one they added currently is the biggest one is like this class rework. So they changed it from, instead of there being only 4 classes in the game, there's 7 classes.
Oh.
Basically everything except the specialist. Have you played XCOM 2 at all? Like,
I haven't. I've watched people play it, but I haven't personally played
Basically everything except like the one with the class with the little drone that follows them have been split into 2 classes.
Okay.
So, and they basically just like change, or they rework. Basically, they make them more focused for whatever they're doing.
Got it.
So
like, it's
for
not
example,
like a... Oh, go for it.
Yeah, for example, in XCOM 2, there's the Grenadier. He has a big chain gun, but he also has a grenade launcher. In this mod, it splits that class into like the Gunner, which is just
chain
has
gun.
the big minigun, and the Grenadier, which just has the grenade launcher.
Gotcha.
But they can use rifles and shotguns, which they couldn't normally. The Grenadier couldn't do. They could only use the minigun. So, and then it also adds 3 perk lines instead of just 2. So now, for any specific soldier leveling up, you have like a 3rd choice, and they added like a 20, I think, new perks. So it's just tons of new content, and it all works. It's like you just add through the Steam Workshop. It's great.
Do you have to pay for these mods, or are they free?
No, it's Steam Workshop. It's user made. Totally free.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, totally great. If you have XCOM 2, totally check out anything made by Long War Studios. Just go to the workshop, search it. I think they have 6 total mods at this point.
Do it. Go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely great. They totally revamped the game, and even if you've played through it, I have 200 hours played at this point. Wow. And I'm still replaying through the game just because it's so. It's just like a fresh take on the game.
It's almost like the same. It's like the foundation, but almost a new game, or like a 2.5 version.
Yeah, pretty much, exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the main thing I've been playing recently. Is that other than that, I've been playing obviously like World of Warships in the background, Dark Souls 3 in the background. And then the one other big thing I was playing is I can't even.
You know what while you're thinking about it?
Oh, No, that's what it was. I bought Battlefield 1, and I've been playing a lot of that. I haven't played that in like 2 or 3 days, so I kind of forgot about it. I've
Snuck
played
past your
Battlefield
mind.
1
Nice.
and Star Wars Battlefront. I bought both of those on Origin for Black Friday.
Nice. Nice.
Battlefront, totally a great game for $15. You know, like I thought it would be. I thought it would be the perfect game for $15. Definitely not for 50.
No.
Or not for 60.
60.
Sorry.
Either
yeah,
way.
Definitely not with a $50 upgrade.
The season pass. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear
Fantastic
you.
game though.
I actually toured a aircraft carrier. I was thinking about you over the holidays. I toured an aircraft carrier.
Oh, really? Which one did you go to?
The Lexington.
Oh,
in
fantastic. In Corpus Christi?
Mhm.
Nice. How was that?
It was cool, man. I done it when I was a kid, but we went there, and so I got some photos of me on like the cannon, like.
Oh, that's awesome.
And like
man.
you can actually like, my brother sat on the other side, and so like I like controlled the angle, and he like tilted the guns, and we're just sitting there like, you know, having ourselves a ball.
Shooting down Japs.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
So it was
dude,
cool, man. I was definitely thinking about
brother-
you.
My brother and I took my niece, like probably 2 months back at this point, to the Texas.
Oh,
And they let you do that. They have the anti-aircraft guns on the side, and you can do that. One side cranks the horizontal, and the other side cranks the vertical axis.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was in London, I actually went to the HMS Belfast. They don't let you do anything like that on that ship, but yeah, it's not quite as big as an aircraft carrier or a battleship. It's a little bit smaller. It's a cruiser, but it's still pretty big. Piece of machinery.
It was pretty impressive. The thing that I'll tell you, and we can segue to our topics, but the thing that impressed me, I didn't realize how the whole like landing strip was made of wood.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So like
I guess because the Lexington was probably like one of the first aircraft carriers.
probably like so, and my stepdad is he's a Marine, so he was giving me all the deets about all the aircrafts and all that stuff because I think he was a pilot. And so so like there's this one section I was like, God, why is this all wood? This is like, is it just to make sure you know it's old? It's like, no, this is how they actually built the landing strip, is like just wood. And they're like, because it's easy to carry, it's lightweight, and if there's a dent in it, you just chop that piece
Pop it
out, put a new piece of wood in, and you're good to roll.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
And when he said it, I was like, okay, that makes sense. But it was like crazy because you envision it to just be that gray tarmac, and it's not. Like, I'm sure they are now.
For a newer ship, but I guess. Yeah, when you say aircraft carrier, you think black tarmac,
right?
Kind of thing.
But no, like this one was originally
wood. Makes perfect sense. And maybe like, is it painted or is it just flat like brown wood?
For this little, like the majority of it had been painted, and like it may have been resurfaced or made it tour friendly, if you will.
But it was still wood. It wasn't like just tarmac.
Well, the majority of it, I think, had been repaved, but like there was a special section that was just to show you what it was like.
Oh, okay, I see.
Because I think and a lot of those things were kind of rotting, but it was pretty cool, and it just kind of opened my eyes, like how much more impressed I was with people landing on straight wood in like the ocean, right? Like.
Oh yeah, man! Like there's got to be so much less friction on wood than there would be, like concrete or asphalt or whatever. Like, oh, that's got to be it really puts like
changes
into your into perspective, like just like everything about like a big ship like that, like the logistics, the manpower it takes to run something like that, like the sheer engineering and resources it takes into going into something like that, like it's just crazy. It's impressive. Insanity.
It is. But let's jump to our topics, man. So I know you didn't share, but I'm pretty sure you've been playing, and I'm sure many of our friends have been playing Skyrim Remastered.
Yep. Yeah, I've also been playing a little bit of that off and on. Yeah, for sure. The new
is it just as amazing as you remember it?
I mean, yeah, it's the same old Skyrim. It gave me a reason to go back and start a new character and go back and play it. Like it's nothing. It's not like, you know, like it doesn't look that different. They basically just had like more pretty looking particle effects and stuff like that. Like there's now fog and stuff on the ground in the early morning.
Gotcha.
And
and maybe enhanced texture.
Yeah, like the textures look a little better, but you know, it's nothing to write home about. It's not like an HD like quote unquote remake, like worthy of like buying it specifically for. Like if you bought all the DLC before, like you'll get it for free because or at least on Steam, because it includes all the DLC in the special edition. So
nice.
It's you know, it's like that, but it's not anything, you know, super fancy, super special.
All right, fair enough. That's fair. Well, you brought a topic to me, so I'll let you introduce it. But I think it's definitely a good one to talk about.
Yeah, I've just been wanting to talk about this for a while. Like how Bethesda has came out publicly and said they don't want to give out review copies more than a day ahead of the day of the release date. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart there.
No, you're fine.
And apparently they've been doing this since Skyrim, the original Skyrim, but they hadn't made it public. But but at the same time, everyone knew about it because that's what the reviewers are saying. People like IGN, PC Gamer, you know,
the articles are coming out.
You know, we've only had a day to review this. They're either coming out with a day one review that isn't finished, or they're waiting 3-4 days, and it's like, you know. But I don't know. I'm curious as to why they're doing it, because it just seems like such a weird, like to me, to the skeptical kind of person, it seems like a attempt to cover up like quick or sloppy or like unfinished kind of content, kind of like with Fallout 4. Like, you know, they have, you know, it looks all spiffy and spick and span, but turns out they totally gutted and gimped out the dialogue content, you know, system in the game. So it's like or, you know, like, I don't know, it just seems sloppy.
So I'll tell you what, I once you brought this to me, I started doing a little internet sleuthing, if you will. And one of the things that
you've been Nick Valentining?
Yeah, I've been looking around on, like, what's going down here. And so one of the interesting things I came up with, and the reason for part of this is, one, they can control the messaging for it. You know, it prevents leaks. You know, potential leaks, but
aren't at the same time, like, aren't they giving it to, like, I don't remember what the term they use, but like, quote unquote, like
YouTubers,
like approved
or
people, like to like Twitch users and like YouTube, you know, users and stuff like that.
I think they are, but again, I think it goes back to that bullet point of, like, they can control the messaging more, right? Like, we know, like, if we're gonna give this guy
they can
a copy,
attempt to control it, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think that's kind of the idea. But what was interesting is I think they had been kind of bouncing back and forth with it since Skyrim, but I think some games they've given copies earlier than that. And on the business side of things, they're not seeing a drastic swing in sales. Like, it doesn't impact the sales. Like, if people are interested in the game, they're buying it regardless of the reviews.
Right. And that's the flip side of this conversation was, like, you know, this has been like pretty much like almost a month ago now that they did this. You know, it's been a while, like I said, since we recorded. But so I heard a couple podcasts that I listened to bring this conversation or this topic up. But it's like, one of them was talking about, like, when's the last time you watched a review or like read a review for a game or a movie or something that
tipped the scale, like, for you? Like,
yeah,
I'm buying it.
Tipped the scale for you. Like, that was like, you read it and then all of a sudden, like, you thought you were gonna go see it before, and you were
then,
like, whoa,
nah,
no,
I'm not
now
gonna
now
do
I don't
it.
want to go see this, or now I don't want to go buy this game or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's always like you're pretty sure you're gonna buy this game, and then you're gonna go see this movie, and then you watch or read the review, and then it just is kind of like reaffirming, you know,
Right.
what you
Affirmation.
thought
like,
about it
yep,
before.
I knew I was gonna like it. Yeah. Perfect.
Like, and it's like, you know, for most of the time that's me too, but there's been a couple times where like I've watched a review and it's like I guess I don't know if I'm in like in the minority at this point, but I still kind of use reviews to inform me like as a consumer. So
That's fair.
I am kind of like upset about or not, I don't know if upset's the right word, but I'm you know, I'm skeptical. I'm not.
You're not the biggest promoter
I'm
of this.
Scroogey, grumbly, like about this business practice. You know, sitting here
So I
with
look
my
at it.
money.
I look at it from
that I-
two
as I
ways. Right. So
decide
I'm with
this-
you. I like reading those reviews, but if I'm interested in a game, I'm probably gonna buy it. Right. Like I you know, even if they say, oh, it's terrible, it's like, well, I'm gonna see for myself because I've you know I've either differed in opinion from reviewers. So like you know, in that case, like yeah, like it doesn't bother me that much. I definitely see the side of the concern of like, what if it is terrible? Like if it's just a broken game, like it's not something that's polished, right? I mean, I think of like, I mean, I enjoyed No Man's Sky, but I kind of
Yeah, I mean, was that worth a $60 purchase though? Like,
probably not.
Yeah, like would you have bought it if like, you know, a review came out like 2 or 3 days before, and it was like, you know, talking about how little content there was, and it like
Right.
Like,
Maybe
I don't
not.
know.
It may have.
Case in point for me would be Star Wars Battlefront. Like, you know, I just bought it because it was $15 on Black Friday, you know, on Origin. That game is like the perfect $15 game. Like, I can't imagine having bought that game for $60 because there's, you know, there's 9 modes, but no one plays, you know, 2/3 of them.
Not anymore.
There's like I think like 5 or 6 maps. You know, I think they added some in a free update.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I might buy the DLC at some point, but it's like, yeah, no, there was that game. That's a game I was super excited for, super stoked for. And then the reviews came out, and it was like, yeah, there's like 4 maps. There's like 5 maps, and I was like, for a $60 game? Are you kidding me?
No space
like,
battles. Yeah,
no,
like
and there's no single player. You know, there's no,
Yeah.
or you know, there's no campaign. There's tutorials and there's bot matches and stuff, but
right.
you know, there's no campaign. Like, are you kidding me? And so, like, I decided, like, I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's me personally.
Like I said, I definitely think that's definitely, you know, reviews are used for that. But at the same time, I almost use reviews as more of like a social aspect. Like, yeah, like people were, like didn't like it, but I enjoyed it, right? Like, you know, you can kind of get a sense of like what the majority is going to think about a game. But I don't know. I'm on the fence. Like they hit it from a business point, right? It's like, look, we're not seeing sales changes like drastically swing. Like we may lose 1 or 2 sales, but that's not like undermining their thing. Now, I'll tell you this, like I think Bethesda's got a reasonable good track record. Like if they produce a game that, you know, they start producing these games that are under what we expect from them, then yeah, I'm going to start having more hesitations. I mean, and my thing is, I don't pre-order games anymore. Just don't do it.
Yeah, I don't either, really.
You know,
I mean,
like,
there's, you know, obviously there's 1 or 2. Like anything from CD Projekt Red. Like I pre-ordered Witcher 3, and you know, that game was phenomenal, totally worth it. But
right,
you know,
but they've warranted your respect, and like for me,
like you said that one point, or I don't know if it was last time, you like everybody has their one that they'll.
Everybody's got the one that they will get DLC. They'll get it all for. Yeah, they got the.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll tell you, the studio that has like built, like I enjoyed both their games is Super Giant.
Oh, Bastion and
Bastion and Transistor.
Yes, I haven't. I bought Transistor and I played like 15 minutes of it, but
Those games.
I loved Bastion so much.
I can tell you their new game I think it comes out next year, Pry. I already I'll buy it day one. Like if I could pre-order indie games, I'd do it.
I haven't heard anything about it. What is that?
It's
What was it? What was it called?
Pry, I think it's
Pry, like PRY.
PRYRE. Pry.
Pyre.
Maybe that's what it is.
Pyre. PYRE.
Yeah, Pyre.
Sorry, yeah. PYRE.
Yeah, that's it.
Pyre.
So it's you're basically in the land of like exiles, and there's essentially like I almost want to say it looks like a sport where there are these like that makes sense. They're like fire pyres.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay.
And you have to like dunk this like orb into or get into the space to score. So it's like kind of rugby, but
so it's a sports game?
Kind of, but it's also got some like combat RPG elements because you could have 3 characters.
Okay.
But the game's in real time, but you can
all at once or like that I choose from.
So it's you can change to any of them at any time, but it's real time.
Okay.
But there's no like AI essentially. So like if you move a character, they stop there.
Okay.
And now the AI, like your enemy may be able to control all 3 at a time, but you can only control 1 person at a time. So you have to like it's almost like chess because you have to position your people to block, but then be able to pass.
Okay.
It looks very like it just looks interesting. It looks like some very interesting mechanics.
I'll have to check it out.
Look into it. It's also got a little bit of a Banner Saga feel because you're in your caravaning through the exiles, but like they got that guy's voice narrating stuff, and it's just this like their world building and their storytelling is just so good. Like I'm interested.
Right.
I'm probably not even doing justice how the game plays, but like that's what I've seen in the experience.
Oh yeah, no, I'm watching the trailer right now. It's in the background. Yeah, I can totally see the Banner Saga.
Yeah, you like got your little cart. You're moving along. There's like dialogue conversations. I think you may be able to pick different like rosters of people.
This looks really really cool. I'm gonna have to look more into this.
Enriched world, man. So yes, Pyre. Thank you for fixing the name on there. But that one is like I'm already gonna buy it. Like I just know because they make solid work. But here's the thing. Even like I would probably pay $60 for their games, but their games are like $25 or $20, $15. They're like never expensive, but they're so well polished, and I typically always play through them twice. The New Game Plus, like everyone, like they're always good. So yes, but you're right. Everybody's got that one studio where they've got it. But I'm gonna flip the script. So we're talking about Bethesda games that like don't give early access to their early CDs or early downloads. I want to talk about a little bit about Final Fantasy 15 because it's finally out. Changed names. It was Final Fantasy 13 versus 13. Then it changed names, and I think it's had 4.
So wait, it changed from 13 to 15.
It was Final Fantasy versus 13 was the original name for it, and then it kind of like died away, and no one knew what happened to it. And then they like a few years ago they're like, hey, we're still developing it. It's Final Fantasy 15.
Okay.
Like, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago at E3 they announced like they did the swap, like the trailers, like now it's 15. So like all the characters seem to like still be connected to that versus 13 story and some of the gameplay. But there's been multiple demos of this game. Some to the public, some at trade shows. There was one you got with Final Fantasy Type 0, and it was about like a 3 or 4 hour demo experience with little Easter eggs in it. There was a free demo that anyone could get on the PlayStation or Xbox stores. That was almost more of a tech demo, where the one that you got with the other Final Fantasy was more of like a mini open world that had side quest, a main story, hidden things. Like I said, it was like a small version of the game, basically. They've had different like battles or boss battles at trade shows, and what's interesting is like there's all these different versions that they showed off, and then the game's finally here, right? And it's so interesting to me how varied people's like opinions about the game are. Some people love the combat, some people hate it, some people want more complexity, some people want better characters, better story. But then for every person who doesn't like something or loves something, there's a person who hates or loves it. Like, if that makes sense. So if someone loves the combat, there's someone who hates
people are pretty like evenly split. Like,
it. Yeah. But getting high scores, it seems like all around. But it's just very interesting to me that they've had so many demos.
that like the minus, like the few bits of minus score that they dock it for is just like different. Like some people will dock it for the characters, some people will dock for the the odd gameplay or whatever.
Right.
Like
weird mechanic choices.
Yeah.
And so it's very interesting to me where, again, I think it kind of almost, it's almost moot in the terms of like they had so many demos and like so many different impressions of it and different aspects. Like some of it's more like the traversal, like, oh, you gotta ride the chocobos or drive the cars, and people are like, I love that, and other people are like, I hate that, I just want to go do the quest and call it a day.
I kind of try to just chalk that up to general, like, different people like different things, people have different tastes. I mean, that sounds like the better way to do it, because like, I mean, we talked about it a little bit before the show, but it's like I've never heard of a game coming out with like 5 different demos.
It's kind of crazy,
like that. Like, I've heard of like game getting like a demo, and that's kind of like the other thing. Like games don't really come out with demos anymore. Like you can't really like play a game for free, like
right,
and try it before you buy it anymore. Like, and I think that's like a big clue. Like if a game does have a demo, I think that's a really big what's the word? It's like a stamp of like it's a big show of confidence.
It's proof that we're building this.
It's all about like we're pretty sure that what we've got, is pretty quality. We're here, check it out for yourselves, and if you like it, give us money, kind of thing.
So
whereas most games, they want to show you pre-rendered trailers and pre-edited videos, or very very cut little vignettes on some TV show with a celebrity playing the game or something like that.
Sure.
they don't want to show you like the blemishes, and I feel like that's something that we just don't get anymore as gamers, is demos.
Let me ask you this. Do you think we still get these demos? They're just marketed to us differently. And what I say by that is,
I mean,
think about these like open alphas or pre-alpha,
No, I mean, if I have to buy into it, no, I'm sorry, that's not the same thing.
Well, but sometimes they're free. They're free. Anyone can open betas.
Yeah, I mean, if they're free, if it's an open beta or whatever for like, available for 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, that's a month. That's one thing.
Right.
That's cool that they have that. It shows they're trying to work out on bugs and their quality testing, stuff like that. But it's still not the same thing as a demo, because that's a demo I can download, I can have that saved on my computer forever. A beta is going to expire, and if I try to load that executable up, after the the day,
it's not going to happen.
Give me anything.
Yeah, makes sense.
I can still download the old demo for Fear, if I wanted to, and
fair
play
point.
through that. Like,
that's fair. I'll tell you this, and this could be completely wrong, but I think Final Fantasy, in the terms of like Final Fantasy 15 having all these demos, I honestly think they kind of use these to like get a pulse of what people thought about it, what they liked and what they didn't, and made changes accordingly. Because I can tell you, things of the demo that I didn't like are gone in the real game already. Like,
and I feel like they might have even been working on that like before they even showed that video. Like that's just like a hype up video, and they're still obviously they can just have a big work in progress thing bar at the bottom, and it's still whatever. But it's like I don't know. I feel like a demo is, and that's the other thing. Like demos, they don't come like super early in the game. They come out pretty much after the game is gold, or right around the time the game is gold. So it's like they give you like the best idea of what the game would be. It's like, this is how the game is going to function. this is a little snapshot into the game. Like that's basically, you know, what you were getting. It's not a beta, which is obviously broken, obviously unbalanced. It's like
That's a good point.
This is a little 10-15 minute chunk of the game that you can just fiddle around with, and that's I don't know. That's something that I think that's the.
Remember demo discs?
I don't know if it's the biggest, but I want to say it's probably one of like the top 3 biggest things that like gaming from even like, you know, like 10 years ago, back when we were teenagers, you know, is just different from today.
Demo discs. I think like that's something that, you know, like you'd subscribe to a magazine and you knew you were gonna get 5 demos.
Going to the game store and picking up like Xbox magazine or whatever just to get like the demo disc. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like we had the demo for Fear on a disc that we would throw into our Xbox 360 because we were in the middle of moving. We didn't have internet right then, so we would play this demo for this game, and you know, it was just awesome. We played that demo probably 100 times, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was just like, because, and it was great because some demos were like basically just like a section of the game cut out.
Right,
and
like a chapter.
Sometimes they would cut out, they would like mix and match. They would cut out like little pieces and like stitch them together. Right. And so you have this weird amalgamation. It would like exactly like what they did with the Fear disc, which is like the demo is like if you play it again, it's like, and if you've ever played Fear, you can totally see it. It's like
you get the scary section, you get the power section.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. They give you a great sampling, right? And then when you play through it, you're like, oh, I remember this. This is what got me into the game. Like this is why I bought it. Yeah, I do think we have missed some of that. But
I mean, like I said, like I just saw on Steam the other day, like Limbo updated or something like that, or not Limbo, Inside, and I looked at the notes. I saw that Inside has a demo now. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. There's so few games at this point that have demos. I'm just surprised that in 2016 we're seeing those still. So
it's the resurgence of demos.
Hopefully, I would.
I
would, you know, I'm not a praying man, but I pray to the gods of gaming that
the demo gods
demos become a thing again. Make demos great again, man.
Make demos great again. That's the hashtag.
There we go.
That's the hashtag for this episode. Make demos great again.
I would stamp that.
All right, I'm gonna do it. Well, guys, let us know what you think about. Do you want to make demos great again? What do you think about these? You know, companies starting to not give early access to copies of the game till basically release date. I want to hear what you guys think about it. Does it matter to you? Do you listen to these reviews? Do you not? I'm curious to see what you say in the comments below, or message me on Twitter. I'm 8bit_Matt. And Travis, thanks for joining me this week. And
yeah,
we'll see you guys.
Always a pleasure.
For the next one. You guys stay hyped.
Stay hyped. Happy holidays.